Welcome to Speak On It with Kirk, though.
Welcome to the show. Let's get this party started.
Yeah,
Hopefully, y'all had a great day today.
I'm out.
It wouldn't be allegedly because he was charged.
Welcome to Speak. Welcome to Speak.
Why, those must be some good wings.
Who you with, Kirk, dog?
Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt Dog. Who You With, Kurt Dog. Hopefully, y'all had a great day today. I did, just like all the time. Every day is a good day that I can walk on the earth and the earth not walking on me. So, hey, before we get started, got a couple of birthdays, special birthdays. Want to shout out to my beautiful wife, who birthday is today, and happy birthday, baby. You know how we do it. So, also shout out to my boy, Chris Storman Norman, who birthday is today also, and then today was also one of the greatest artists of all time, Prince birthday. Would have been today. He would have been 63 today. So want to welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is always in the house. Tonight we have a lot we're going to hit on. Tonight we're going to talk about the city of Frisco, the history that was made over there also. We're going to talk about Stormy Daniels. Yeah. Then we also going to talk about a little bit about the NFL. Not surprised, but I wasn't aware of it, but we're going to hit on that a little bit. And then we also going to talk about Greg Abbott. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about Trump supporters. Why do they feel whenever a black person is elected into a position, they feel that it's the end of the world? So we're going to hit on that too. So let's get this party started. So yesterday we talked about the brothers that were selected, and I just ran across this one. The city of Frisco elected their first black female to the city council, Angelina Film. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Is the newest member of the city of Frisco city council. Congratulations to you. That's that black girl magic working. So congratulations to you. And can't wait until you get sworn in and start serving that community. I'm sure you have a lot of great things coming up for the city of Frisco. See, this is the power of voting, because here it is. Look at the history that's been made just here in North Texas. I'm sure all over the country it been other history made. But if you get out and vote and let your voice be heard, you can make a difference. That's doing something different than what you've done in the past. So definitely congratulations to her. And I know she's going to do great things. I said the total from Collin and Denton County showed the film gained 53% of the vote. That averaged out to 7,045 votes of over 13,000 votes for a runoff election to determine who will fill the place 3 spot on the city council. Opponent Jennifer White gained 47%, or 6,244 100 votes. At around 10:30 p.m., Filmer said she thought she was still in a state of shock. We expected this to be a close race. She said Saturday, we didn't know exactly what the numbers were going to come out to be. Some members of our team had been optimistic as runoff election day came around, Film said, and others were a little concerned. Film herself said she was somewhere in the middle. optimistic and prayerful, but unsure of what the numbers would look like. Um, a little before 10 p.m., everyone had their answer. I think Frisco spoke. Fam says Saturday night, Frisco said with some things with this vote, not only with the number of people that came out, but ultimate how the number fell out. So early voting numbers from Collin and Denton County had shown a tight lead for Fam, who at that point was ahead of white by just 14 votes. Fam says she felt a lot of vulnerable had tipped and scaled in her favor, including staying true to her message and the support she saw from city leaders like Frisco Mayor Jeff Cheney and Frisco City Council John Keaton. Um, Once again, congratulations. Even her opponent said great things about her. So I'm glad, once again, history been made. When you get out and vote, and for local election, it doesn't matter the parties because that's not how they voting. Local election is all about who's the best person to serve your city. And I'm gonna pause this for a little bit because we're gonna talk about that a little bit more because I've seen a lot of craziness going on after the election in the city of Grand Prairie. And we're going to talk about that because for some odd reason, some people have it set in their mind that if a Democrat or if a minority, mainly Black person, win a seat, they automatically think that it's the end of that city. But you got to be able to want to make a change. So we will discuss that a little bit later. Excuse me. You can live chat with us in the chat room, regardless of which platform you on. If for some reason you're on my personal Facebook page, please go over to the business, speak on it with Who You With Kurt Dog. For when you start to chat with us, I can also put your message on the stream and people can see it also. So I definitely do that. But once again, congratulations for Angela Pham for winning, sitting the first Black woman to win the city council seat in Frisco, Texas. Congratulations once again. Now, this story, it was kind of strange. I wasn't aware of this, and I don't know if y'all was aware of it. But the NFL, I guess back in May, retired Black players say NFL brain injury payouts show bias. And I didn't hear about this story until right before we came on the show. We was discussing it on our family call, and someone mentioned it. I'm like, no, I didn't hear about that. So I pulled it up. Well, sure enough, it's true. So the NFL would stop assuming racial difference when assessing brain injury. The NFL on Wednesday pledged to halt the use of race norming, which assumed Black players started out with lower congestion function in the $1 billion settlement of brain injury claims and review past scores for any potential race bias. The practice made it harder for Black retirees to show the fit and qualify for an award. The standard were created in the 1990s in hope of offering more appropriate treatment to dementia patients, but critics fault the way they were used to determine payout in the NFL concussion case. Wednesday announcement comes after a pair of Black players filed the civil rights lawsuit against the practice. Medical expert raised concern, and a group of NFL family last month dropped 50,000 petition at the federal courthouse in Philadelphia, where the lawsuit had been thrown out by the judge overseeing the settlement. Senior U.S. District Judge Annette B. Brody later took the unusual step of asking for a report on the issue. Black retirees hope it will include a breakdown of the nearly 800 million in payouts so far by race. They feared the data would never come to light. Words are cheap. Let's see what they do, said former Washington running back Ken Jenkins, whose wife, Amy Lewis, led the petition drive on behalf of NFL friends struggling with congested problem. Jenkins, an insurance executive, has so far been spared. And so apparently they saying, allegedly saying, that because of the way that the Black NFL players' head are made up, they're more likely to get a brain injury and they shouldn't have to pay for it. Well, to me, that's a slap in the face, because that just lead me not to watch the NFL even more. For the simple fact, you want us to be on that field, but without us being on that field, you won't make as much money. And that's why that's a problem. You okay for the Black players to sacrifice their bodies, but when they get an injury, they are the ones that is at the lowest toll on the pole to get compensated for it. Where we've seen a lot of players have actually lost their lives, that are suffering today, that put it all on the line, all for the game of the NFL. So to me, that's a slap in the face, because as long as those stadiums are full and the NFL is making money, well, you need to compensate them. That's on a job injury. But you want to treat the Black players different, and that's wrong. That's why I personally do not support the NFL, because it's racist in the NFL. A lot of these owners is allegedly racist, and also they need to be able to get some Black NFL owners in NFL. So make it fair for everybody, because there's several people that would love to be owners in the NFL that are Black, but y'all try not to do that. So that's why I don't support them. You can support them, I don't. But hey, that's the way I see it. And I know some people may agree, may not agree. And that's okay. That's why this platform is for everybody. You have the option to agree or disagree. And it's okay. But the NFL need to do better. They need to change with time and do more things than, instead of holding on to that good boy system, and open it up a little bit more and treat these players fair across the board. They the same. Treat them fair. That's kind of like, unfortunately, what, like for instance, the military. Unfortunately, a lot of our vets, they don't get the same benefits as some of the white veterans. And unfortunately, that's a breakdown in the system. That's why I feel that when it comes down to the vets getting their benefits, they serve this country, they should not have to try to fight to get their benefits. That should automatically be given to them. But unfortunately, a lot of veterans are having to fight. I know people personally that have been fighting for years trying to get their benefits. And because they served in the Vietnam War and they're having trouble trying to get it, it's a struggle. And why should it be a struggle? You want them to have paperwork from way back then to today, and a lot of them not going to be able to not going to be able to find that paperwork. But they serve. They was in the area with a war, but you making them jump through loops to try to get this stuff for you. Our veterans should be taken care of. It shouldn't be a struggle with our veterans trying to get their benefits at all. But unfortunately, in the times that we're in, that's the issue that we have. So yeah, it should be one of those situations where they able to get their benefits automatic. You know what they going through, but that's not how it works. Now, it's a good boy system because I've known people that worked in that department and they have actually witnessed a lot of black veterans getting denied compared to other veterans. They automatically get it. They walk through the process to get their benefits. So that's the difference. So it is jacked up. Um, so I'm gonna do this other one first because I was gonna switch it around, but I'm gonna do this other one first. So here in Texas, our governor, a piece of a governor, because his time is up. It's time for us to make a change. For the simple fact, how can you tell a private business how to run their business? That's a private owned business. But he took it up on himself to he signed the legislation on Monday barring business and government agencies from requiring proof that someone has been vaccinated against the coronavirus before providing service. Well, okay, I understand about the HIPAA. Okay. But if they come into these business and if they refuse to wear a mask, it's their business right to ask them to leave. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to cause a big confusion about it. And that's not right. It's their business. That's like if someone comes to your home and you tell them they need to wear their mask while they're in their home. If they choose not to, well, guess what? You ask them to leave. Or if they come in your home disrespecting your home, you ask them to leave. Now, Abbott signed an executive order in April banning government entities from requiring so-called vaccine passport. The new law passed in the waning days before Texas legislature adjourned for the year. Would extend to private business as well. The law bars those establishments from requiring documentation showing that someone has either been vaccinated against or has recovered from an infection with the coronavirus before gaining access to or receive service from a business. Business that require vaccine passport would be barred from receiving grants from or winning contracts with the state. I'm signing a law today that prohibit any business operating in Texas from requiring vaccine passport or any vaccine information. Abbott wrote on Twitter, Texas is open 100% without any restriction or limitation or requirement. Vaccine passport has become the latest cause taken up by Republican elected officials and what they cast as the war between honors public health restriction and individual liberation. Only two states, New York and Hawaii, has implemented vaccine passport rules. New York allows residents to get a digital certificate, dubbing the Esler Pass, that shows they have been vaccinated. In sports venues such as Yankee Stadiums and Madison Square Garden have used those passes to admit fans to sections where they can um, congregate more closely. Hawaii's safe travel program allows vaccinated individuals to travel between islands without adhering to testing or quarantine rules. Um, Bottom line is, welcome to the show, DVA Mechanic. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, tell a friend, and click the notification for whenever we come on. You can always be a part of the show. Um, Bottom line is, um, with this, if people, a lot of people gonna lie and say I had the vaccine, but someone coming in coughing, no mask on, um, just doing reckless things. At this point, ask them to leave. Just tell them to leave. It's going to be a lot of complaints come out of this bill, and that's one reason why we need to get Greg Abbott out of office. Greg is only making the laws to try to get reelected. That's the only reason why he's doing it. He don't care about the citizen of Texas. He don't care at all. Um, and the problem is with that, with Greg Abbott, he basically um, he can let us hang out on the stick. And I pray and hope um, that we don't end up having a huge surge like some of these other countries are having, due to the fact that people not taking it serious enough. Because even here in Dallas, they reporting, or in Texas, they reporting the numbers are low, but is that true? Because in one report you hear, I think I forgot what the percentage was that been vaccinated, but I don't think it even been 50% in Texas. So here it is, you got 50% vaccinated, another 50% not vaccinated. And what happened? Because what people don't understand, even if you've been vaccinated, you can still get the virus. You can still get it. We just seen the golf player. I don't know if he been vaccinated. They didn't say. But in the middle of a golf match, they end up with him, hey, you've been tested positive. He had to leave the tournament. So you still need to protect yourself and your family, because here it is, people are still getting it. I think it was one hospital in Texas said they report no vaccine case. But once again, that's what they telling us. But a lot of people, they get misdiagnosed. They're saying it's allergies. They're saying it's upper respiratory um, infection, and later finding out that it's actually coronavirus. So people have to understand that even with getting the vaccine, you still need to protect yourself, for the simple fact they don't know enough about this virus. And then you got people that goes and act like we completely healed of it, but we're not. We're not. And they're still saying we're going to have to get another boost of the virus, but they don't know when. It may be 3 to 6 months from now. So the thing is, we don't know exactly what to expect at this time. And the problem is, we have to look at it like this. Just like they say in boxing, protect yourself at all time. Well, we have to look at it like that when it comes down to this virus. We need to protect ourselves at all time because we don't have any idea what this virus can and can't do. Who's affected, who's not affected. Yeah, I understand the HIPAA thing, but also you want to lift up the mask update. But what you should have did was said, hey, even though we're going to open up 100%, keep your mask on. But that's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to benefit your supporters for you can try to get reelected. But as far as I'm concerned, your time is counting down because I'm going to continue to speak against you as long as you continue to do these type of things. You showed me enough that I'm ready for you to go. If you left today, I would not be mad at all. If you said, you know what, I don't want this position, I quit, I would be very happy. So here in Texas, we need to get rid of Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, Ken Paxton, the Board of Education, because here it is. This man don't want to hear about the history of America, and that's part of America history. But in the history book, they don't want to teach about it. You want to limit what can and can't be taught in the schools. How is they going to benefit and make a difference in America if you don't want to talk about the true history of America? You want to talk about the good and the bad. Let's talk about when America was stolen. Let's talk about all the lynchings that was taking place in America, all because of the color of the skin. Let's talk about the wars that are being done today, all because of the color of the skin. And so you want to talk about certain things, but you don't want the real truth to be told. See, when you went and signed that executive order last year, and when Little Becky decided to violate your order, you changed your executive order. That's saying that you didn't care about all the people of Texas. You only cared about that one person, one of your supporters. That's the only person you really cared about. So let's talk about that. And then for y'all to file all these lawsuits after the 2020 election, why? Why are you filing lawsuit? You're saying that our voting system don't work. But once again, it wasn't that people did. It wasn't the fact that people actually um, did voter fraud. The ones that did voter frauds, they all voted for Trump. The ones that I know. Here it is. What are you afraid of? You're making these laws to benefit you and a certain group of folks. But when you represent a whole entire state, you should be making laws to benefit everybody. And I'm confused about all of this because here it is. You're the top official in Texas, but you only making laws to represent a small portion of Texas and not everybody. So I'm tired of you being in office. I'm ready for you to leave. I'm ready to vote you out. If I can vote today to get you out of office, I will vote. So come next year, guess what? We're voting you out. If the good Lord feel that it's fit for me to still be here, I'm gonna vote you out. You, Dan Patrick, and Ken Paxton. That's why so many people are looking at throwing a hat into the ring to beat you because they tired of you also. So it's time to make a change. And please do not say your vote don't count. Look at the history that was done in these three cities where they voted in four different elected officials, one mayor and 3 city council. So don't say your vote don't count, because we just seen this history and we witnessed this history ourselves. Unfortunately, in some races, it wasn't that many that showed up. I think in Little M, I think it was like 13,000 or something, and I think it was about the same in Collin County and Denton County. For Frisco, it was about the same amount. But even in Grand Prairie, it was only about 4,000, a little bit over 4,000 people to vote there. That's about 2% of about 2% of people that actually voted. So I'm like, hey, don't tell me voting don't work. Welcome to the show, Patriot Time. Said Biden got a record low number of counties in the United States by suppose winner only 16%. Trump won every bellwether county except one in every battleground race in the U.S. House. But who won the election? It's not just about the counties. It's about the number of votes and also the electoral votes. So unfortunately, Trump failed again. He failed again. He failed because he failed as a president. He failed because this is the reason why we're still in this pandemic almost a year and a half later. He failed at that. And he failed to win that election. Why? Because he chose to actually lie about a lot of things and lied about the pandemic. And people got tired of that. People have lost a lot of loved ones due to this pandemic. But Trump, trying to change everything that President Obama had in place, he decided as soon as he get in office, start changing those things. One thing, he got rid of the team that would prevent a outbreak. He got rid of them. So because of that, he failed. He failed big time. And he's going to continue to fail. And I can't wait until I see him in that orange suit. So that's one thing. Newly released data from the confirmed Trump won more women and voters of color in 2020. Yeah, but it was also a lot of Republicans that went against him. There's still a lot of Republicans that's going against him today that don't want to have anything to do with Trump, even if it was more women. So what? But it was a lot more people that went against him. Some people changed parties just to vote against him. So that tells you a lot. He probably did. It doesn't matter. Obama wasn't running this time. He wasn't running, so it didn't matter. That's your opinion. If it was or wasn't, Trump was not prepared to deal with it. He wasn't smart enough to deal with it, for the simple fact he went in and fired the team as soon as he got in office. He fired that team. So that's where he failed at. Now, Trump probably would have been a good president if he would have paid attention to the people that were surrounding him. But he had them so scared and paranoid that if they spoke against him, they would lose their position. And because of that, people more concerned about position than anything. Now, explain to us why Fawcett is to blame. Explain that to us. We got about 2 seconds for you to explain it, because I don't know how you can blame a doctor that was not the one making the decision. Trump went against everything the doctors was saying. So explain that to us. And that's what we want to know. Um, exactly. That's the same thing I said. He lost the electoral college and the popular votes. So I want you to explain. Oh, hell. Have you read the emails? Here we go with emails again. Emails. Ain't that's what he said about Hillary? Lock her up for the emails, Lock her up, lock her up. Hillary's sitting back eating popcorn right now, waiting for him to get locked up. So yeah. So I'm asking you to explain what the Fawcett wasn't the one that came. Fokker wasn't the one that came in and said, "Trump, you need to fire that whole team that's gonna protect us from an outbreak." He didn't have nothing to do with that. That was Trump doing, and he never put another team in place to protect us from it. So that's Trump way of failing. That's just one failure. And as for reading emails, I don't need to read no email. Um, Well, okay, that's your opinion. That's what you want to say. That's cool. But while we talking about that, hey, uh, da, 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 da. Yeah, but that's your word. That's your word. That doesn't mean it's true. That doesn't mean it's true. Um, so once again, that's your opinion. And Patrick, I know this is your first time on here, and it's cool. That's why this platform is for everybody. We can agree to agree and disagree. And the thing is, you have the right to believe what you want to believe. But the only thing we're going to deal with on this show is truth. We're not going to deal with conspiracy theory. Um, so that's not what we're going to do. Talking about this on YouTube. You went from reading emails to it's on YouTube. You can listen to him for yourself. The way they manipulate YouTube and videos today, I would not waste my time. And since it is your first time, please take the time out, uh, like, subscribe, click the notification, share it with your friends. And most importantly, please do not put links on my page that will get you blocked because I don't do links. So, but we can always have a conversation. Doesn't mean we're going to agree with each other, but we can always have a conversation. Okay, that's your opinion. But while we're talking about that, you know, as for I was trying to figure out why is Stormy Daniel why is Stormy Daniel trending on YouTube? I mean on Twitter. So I said, oh, let me find out what's going on with her. Well, she admit today that her attorney is in contact with the prosecutor investigating Trump organization. So because of that, they are investigating Trump because there was some wrongdoing that happened when it came down to Trump. Stormy Daniels say her lawyer has been in touch with the prosecutor in New York City who are investigating former Trump company, President Trump company. I have not been called to testify, Daniel said during an appearance on CNN New Day on Monday. I know that my attorney, Clark Brewster, has been in contact with them and I'm very forthcoming with my willingness to participate. It was reported late last month that the grand jury has been seated in the Southern District of New York to investigate possible financial crimes committed by a former president of his company. Trump lashed out um, when the development was reported, calling it a continuous the greatest witch hunt in American history. This is purely political in an effort to almost 75 million voters who supported me in the presidential election. Um, so if you're calling, I don't take blocked numbers. So you're going to have to call without your number being blocked, and we could go from there. Um, Trump lashed out when the development was reported, calling it unconstitutional the greatest witch hunt in America. This is purely political in an effort to almost 75 million voters who supported me in the presidential election. And it's been driven by highly partisan Democrat prosecutor, Trump said at the time. Michael Cohen was sentenced to 3 years in prison for lying to Congress, tax invasion, and other charges after making a hush money payment to Daniel to prevent the adult film star from going public with accusation of an affair with Trump. Early in May, the Federal Election Commission dropped the probe into the payment after failing to find that Trump or his campaign knowingly um, and willfully violate campaign finance law, a decision both Cohen and Daniel blasted. I don't just, I don't, I just don't understand how one man can go to prison for a crime and somebody else can't even be investigated, Daniel said on Monday. So Cohen said in a tweet earlier this month that he remained ready, willing, and able to assist investigators with their probe into the Trump organization. I would tell them everything I know, Daniel said. If she was disposed by him and by the investigator, I would tell them I was approached. I would tell them I have evidence that the money came from an account set up at the direction of Donald Trump. I would tell them that money was traced back to Russian funds. I would give them copies of the bank wires and all the transcript for that. I think that anybody should be really terrified that a normal citizen can take the fall for somebody in power. So that's why Daniel was trending today on Twitter. I'm glad she's willing to take a stand on it. Oh, and let me go back real quick. Radio, welcome to the show. I'm sorry, I did not welcome you to the show like I normally do. So welcome to the show. Hopefully you're having a good day today. I have a good day every day. Let's see what Patrick said. And or is that conspiracy? Where is Mike Evans been extorted by a porn star? It's not a crime. Doesn't Congress have a fund to pay off people? You say so. But once again, just because you are elected official does not give you the right to break the law. That's the key. Trump should be held accountable for his action. He should also, for it, I know some people say he did not entice the January 6th riot at the Capitol, that terrorist attack, but he did. He surely did. Because he used certain words to encourage those people to march down there and be able to and encourage them to do these acts, the crimes. So it's just a matter of time before that come out. So you want to know what law did he break? If I go out here and tell somebody, look, You could go down here and do this and nothing will happen to you. Well, I'm lying to them, but I'm giving them the power to do it, especially when you hold the highest office in this great country. So it is a difference. It's a big difference. So yeah, it's a problem. Um, uh, Radio said, amazing how a reality TV guy has such influence over people. That's because a lot of people don't think for themselves. Unfortunately, like Patrick, he don't think for himself. He think everything Trump do is wonderful. He think Trump uh, bowel movement smell like roses. So, and he might think Trump urine may be lemonade. But the bottom line is you have to think for yourself. So, with that being said, the question of the day I have, and this is a prime example with Patrick. I asked the question, why do Trump supporter feels when a black person win a elected office, they feel it's the end of the world or the end of that particular area that they represented. Now I say that because I've been getting a lot of messages um, about the election in the city of Grand Prairie when Kurt Johnson and Junior Zeno beat both of their opponents. But the funny thing, some people say this is the end of the city of Grand Prairie. Um, Grand Prairie is going to go to hell for elected them. Grand Prairie is going to destroy us. But here it is. You okay with some elected officials that been in these positions for 10 to 13 years and haven't done a damn thing for the city of Grand Prairie and don't care anything about you until it come down to voting time. And then on top of that, when they come down, they don't even come to your door. They'll send you a mail flyer. If they ask for your opinion for the city of Grand Prairie, they'll send you out a survey and don't ask you, don't provide the information for you can respond back. That's because they really did not want your opinion. But people are so sick and think just because you have a new leader that you don't agree with, that everything is going to go to hell. Well, that's not the case. If you heard Kurt Johnson and Junior Zeno talking, you would know they for everybody, regardless of if you supported them or not. They're going to represent the city of Grand Prairie. But for these folks to make comments like that, that tells me how messed up in the mind they are. Just because it's a new leader, they feel the world is going to end. One person had the audacity to say back in just like the election in 2020, how Trump was cheating out of the election. But once again, you're saying that you're okay with it. But then when they talk about the voting laws that Greg Abbott is trying to change, they want to know, how did you want to why do you feel that way about the voting laws? Well, if it's a voting law put into place where it make low income areas harder to vote because they closing down polls or they cutting the hours back, that they're going to shorten the times with the election polls. Well, the problem is with that, that's going to affect everybody. But some of y'all are so blind to see that if they cut the polls down, and if you are going to work, the polls was open from 7 to 7. They want to cut it down to 8 to 5. Well, how will you have the opportunity to vote if you got to be at work at 8 and the polls don't open up to 8, or you don't get off work to 6? and the polls close at 5. It's going to affect each and every one of us. So the problem is they making these laws to hurt all of us just to try to stay in office. But you have to think for yourself. Is that a good thing to do? Now, Patrick still want to lie and say Biden administration is built on hate. Explain that to us, just like I said about the other thing I asked you to explain, but you never explained it. So I'm not going to waste time with your BS. And unfortunately, far as I'm concerned, you're irrelevant. Why is I'm gonna entertain this mess? No, it's not a hate for Trump, it's a hate for stupidity. That's what it is. It's not a hate for Trump. It's a hate for people taking advantage of the people of America and not doing what they're supposed to do. They get in these positions to serve everyone, but unfortunately, some people get in these positions and they forget about the ones that voted them in. Now, I never voted for Trump and never would have voted for Trump. So, um, as far as I'm concerned, Trump is just somebody who tried to run this country like a reality star, and he got caught with his pants down, and he failed big time. Yeah, I said it. Trump failed. His niece tried to tell us about him. Trump hate losing. He's crazy. He have mental issues. But once again, coming out of mental health month, he should have been trying to get some help for it. But hey, Trump have too much pride to do that. So radio said now some idiots suggest to Trump for him to run for the House in 2022 so he could become Speaker of the House and impeach Biden for stealing the election. Now, all of those, oof, all those folks that voted against from impeaching Trump, even Rep Cheney, she said herself, a lot of other Republicans wanted to vote to impeach him, but they feared for their life. I'm just waiting for when the mess hit the fan and the truth come out about January 6th, because you got to remember January 6th, Trump started talking months before, at least a month before. Oh, January 6th going to be a day we all going to remember. It's going to be a great day, January 6th. Some fools still think he's coming back in August. Trump even indicated that he's coming back in August. But once again, it would be a cold day in hell before he come back. In August, and as far as I'm concerned, in any time. So, so that's the way I see it. What's wrong with segregation? That just show how smart you are. Okay. See, I know you're new to the show. I really know that. See, the difference is between Biden and some of our elected officials that been in these positions for a long time. They don't make changes. Now, you ask why do I support Biden? First of all, I voted for Biden because they was the best ones to beat Trump. I know this is your first time. I voted for the best ones to beat Trump because Trump needed to get out of office, just like Greg Abbott need to go. So the best one that I feel that could beat Greg Abbott, I'm gonna vote for them too. No, it's not hate. It's definitely not hate. It's just the fact y'all allowed a fool to run the greatest country in the world. That's what happened. Y'all felt like because he was a reality superstar, y'all felt he could run the country better, and he used hate the whole time. And please, I know what you're finna say. He didn't use hate. The hell he didn't, because when his rallies when he was going to the rally. Matter of fact, let's go past the rally. When President Obama ran, he talked about his birth certificate, talked about he have people that have proof he's not a American. He even talked about his birth certificate was fake. But hold on, we could go further back than that. Let's talk about the Central Park Five when he took out a big ad in the newspaper saying they need to be lynched. They need to have this done to them, that done to them. But at the same time, they was innocent the whole time. They was only guilty by being kissed by the son that the Lord gave them and made them black. That's the only reason why they was guilty. They didn't do that crime, but then he took out that huge ad to turn around and try to influence them to go to jail, and kind of find out they was innocent the whole time. So you talking about hate? No, Trump hate. Trump hate anybody who goes against him, regardless of the color of their skin or anything. He don't like them. That's why his administration have had more termination out of it in the 4 office he was in years. It seemed like every day he was firing somebody, all because they did not agree with him. So that's hate. So Radio said Trump is a celebration of incompetence. Maybe that's why his supporters connect with him. I believe it. And unfortunately, a lot of people connect with him just to say they supported for Trump. But what they fail to realize, when they buy the hats, the stickers, and everything, basically what happened, you helping him pay his debt off. That debt where he owes, we did a story on, I believe, Bank of China, $1 billion that's coming up. I believe is either within the next year or the next year and a half, where he owed them. See, he's being investigated also because with his business, he made his business seem like they was worth more than what they was really worth for. So he lied about it. That's one of the things that he been investigated for. How about the school that he had? Charged to keep these folks all this money to go to his school, and they could even people look at it, they didn't know nothing. They just got a piece of paper saying they finished, but they didn't learn anything. That's why he's being investigated. So no, don't definitely don't do that. So you're talking about Biden would never hold an event open to the public. Well, Trump didn't hold one that was open to the public either. He had to pay for it. Biden been to different events, have held different events, rallies that was pretty much open. You had to register for it. So once again, that's a lie. Let me just keep going. In fear of more red hats will show up. Yeah, you can see what that hat can get you. Radio said you traded your country for a red hat. Exactly. It's not a political witch hunt. These are facts. These are facts, because people lost their mind just because Trump won the first 4 years. And even he said he was surprised. He only won by the popular vote. Hillary got more votes than him. But that's not how our voting system is set up. So because of that, she lost. She didn't wait until the last minute to say, hey, I lost. Once it was done, she moved on. She moved on. But Trump dragged it on until the last minute because he hates losing. Um, and then on top of that, boy, you throwing some stuff out there, talking about 3 years of Mueller investigation and nothing. Well, it's going to be hard to find anything when you on the payroll of Trump. So, hey, that's your opinion. It wasn't open to the public. Matter of fact, how about Tulsa, Oklahoma, last year when he did it, wanted to hold that event on Juneteenth in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then they had all these folks. They had to get outside seatings because they suspect all these folks was going to show up. But guess what? They barely had people there. They spent all that money trying to get all these outside seatings and all of this at these super spreaders, because look at Herman Cain. Unfortunately, he went and it cost him his life because he ended up getting the coronavirus from that, allegedly from that super spreader in Tulsa, Oklahoma last year. So you talking about uh Russies. I assume that's supposed to be Russian. Oh, okay, you did correct it. Okay. I just thought you was one of those Trump supporters that didn't know no better. Uh Mullen investigation did not exonerate Trump from obstruction of justice, only conspiracy with Russia. Mm. Uh, Wait a minute, what was illegal? What was illegal about the investigation? That's new to me. Why was it illegal? Why is he still being investigated today? And see, here's another case. We haven't heard about the fact that the young lady that's had the lawsuit against Trump that said he groped her, pulled her into a dressing room and groped her. And that case is still pending too. But I guess that was fake news. I'm just kind of curious. I guess that was fake news too. Now I want to see what he said about that. Radio said the deputy AG, a Republican, appointed the special counsel. I'm trying to figure out what was illegal about it. He said no probable cause. Well, guess what? An investigation is an investigation. We all know Trump and the majority of the Republican Party is conspiracy theory hunters. Anything to make it sound right. Uh, boy, Patrick, where are you located? What state are you in? I'm just kind of curious. Where are you located? Because I you always welcome to the show, but please come with facts. Um, so you didn't answer my question about the fact the young lady that said Trump pulled into a dressing room and groped her. What's your opinion about that? Was that real or was that real or is that fake? So you said what is not true. Not sure what you're talking about because I'm just rolling through them. I want to know about this young lady, the investigation with her. How do you feel about that when she said that Trump pulled in the dressing room and groped her? How do you feel about it? I'm just asking. I want to know for myself. Because for me, uh, I'm just trying to see where your mindset is. So was that true or was that fake news of this lawsuit that this woman have against Trump? So I'm just kind of curious about that. Oh, I don't. You've been typing pretty fast. I don't know what's taking you so long to answer that. Um, I'm just kind of wondering. You're right, Radio. He tried to ask Comey to stop the FBI from investigating Russian interference in the election, then fired him. That's why a special counsel was appointed. And not only that, Trump later admitted maybe Russia did interfere with the election. So I guess Patrick had to guess it's past his bedtime. He had to get off, because he either he's not uh he don't want to answer the question or something. I don't know what's going on. Um so I'm gonna ask again. He's back now. So Patrick Times, Patrick Time. I'm gonna ask you a question. What about this lawsuit where this young lady alleged that Trump pulled her in the dressing room and groped her? What about that lawsuit? Is that true or is that false? I I guess he have select uh, answering he liked to do, because apparently, oh, he finally answered. It never happened. It never happened. So what about the fact when Trump was in that interview with Bush and Trump said you should just grab him by the cookie? They like those type of things when a celebrity come up and grab them. Um, so was that true or fake? We heard the tape. So was that true or fake? I'm just asking. Um, well, you say it never happened. I'm asking questions. So um, I'm asking question because I'm. Oh, so that's true that Trump did say that. So if he's saying that he, now get me wrong, want you to hear me real clearly. Now, if Trump is telling somebody that it's okay on a hot mic, that it's okay to grab a woman by the cookies, and they like those type of things when it comes from a celebrity. So what make you think he didn't actually do that with this lawsuit this woman have against him, where he actually allegedly she's saying that he done those things to her? So, oh hell, you tripping? Not what he said. You might need to go pull up that tape. Uh, Bush and Trump conversation about grabbing women by the cookies. You might want to go pull it up and see, because apparently either you see now or you just don't want to accept the truth, and that's the problem that we have with a lot of Trump supporters. They only want to see what they've been told instead of investigating it for themselves. So hey, you might want to check that out. Radio said, I like Trump reason for firing Comey. He said he was wrong for saying Clinton emails were under investigation just before the election. Complete joke. um, so, hey, I guess he said he was going to clean the swamp. And the only swamp I really seen clean was people in his cabin. I guess because the few that didn't bow down to them, Omarosa and a couple of other ones, did not bow down to him, he had to get rid of them. But people don't think that's a problem. People don't feel that that's a concern when you have the highest office in the land and all these people are leaving that office. How good would that be on your resume? On your resume, um, that would be very good on your resume. saying you worked at the White House with the president. But some of them got out a couple of days after getting into a position, all because of what Trump chose. Once they disagreed with him, he got rid of him. What was the guy name that was um, the Senate? Somebody he put in a position, then all of a sudden he just started going on tour talking about it. Okay. All right. Well, cool. Um, but I'm like this. Trump got what he got. He needed to go. He needed to go. So Patrick, let me ask you this. Why do and I asked this question, and I don't know exactly where you're located, what state you're in, but here locally, uh, we had we actually had some history made over the last couple of over the election that happened Saturday. We had Curtis Cornelius, first black mayor of Little M. We had Kurt Johnson, Junior Zeno, the first two black city council in the city of Grand Prairie in 40 years. And then we also had Angelina Phelan, I'm thinking I'm saying that right, uh, the first black female city council in Frisco. Now, why is it that some of you Trump supporters uh, believe because these people had fought a fault, they won, and was elected by the citizen, that they feel that that's going to be the end of this city? Now, I can't speak on Frisco and Little M, but I know some of the history of those cities. But in the city of Grand Prairie, a lot of people say, "Oh, this is going to end the city of Grand Prairie. This is the worst day in the world." But once again, it was leaders in those positions that would not and still wouldn't go out and meet the needs of the citizen of those cities, but these same ones want to complain about it, which probably were the ones that didn't get out and vote. In the city of Grand Prairie, it was only 2% of the voters showed up to vote for this runoff election, which is very low. So I'm just trying to figure it out. Why would it be that situation? So, and I'm gonna go back and answer your question. Um, what vaccine did I get? I got Pfizer. You asked, race is the most important factor. Most important factor to who? Why is race the most important factor? Because I'm going by with what I've seen for myself. Yeah, in the times that we in, race does play a big part in it. It plays a huge part in everything that goes on in America. Um, why do you focus on race? Why not? You don't see black cops going out here killing white folks, unarmed white folks. So race does play a big part of it when you see people that are being shot down that is unarmed are being attacked by the police for no reason. So here it is. Now, if it was turned around and it was black cops killing white folks, I would still feel the same way because it's not right. It shouldn't happen. But it's mighty funny when we hear about these unarmed shooting in America, it's always dealing with a white cop and a black person, or a white cop and a brown person, mainly black and Hispanics. So that is an issue. That's what America was built on, race. because they didn't like the fact that they stole the land and it's gonna come. They based everything on race. And because black folks got backbones and stood up and stopped letting them come in and do things, they had to come up with a different a strategy of keeping them down. So yeah, it is based on race when it come down to our politics, when it come down to our elected officials. Yeah, it is a issue in America with race. So yeah, you may say, why do I focus on race? Because I've been a victim of racism many of times. I've been a victim of a lot of things, but at the same time, I'm a threat to a lot of people just because of my size and my color. So I don't know what color you are, but at the same time, when it come down to you and me, if if I don't know what color you are, which it doesn't matter, but if for some reason you are a Caucasian person, and if I'm there, you there, and someone report a crime, who you think they're gonna go to? They're gonna approach me before they approach you, and you could be the one that actually did the crime. So yeah, America is built on race. So unfortunately, that's how it is. It's taught in the household. It's taught because racism is not. Um, you're not born a racist. You're taught that. So yeah, it is the issue. Uh, Democrat-run cities have the highest crime rates. That's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. Now, just like here in Dallas, in the southern sector of Dallas, there's a lot of crimes that happen up in North Dallas. But unfortunately, a lot of those crimes don't get reported like it should be. Even in the city of Grand Prairie, they have um, one of those systems in place where they don't want the outside people to come in and know about everything that's going on. I'm working on some stuff now about some things that happened in the city of Grand Prairie that was that was kept on the hush hush. People don't want to talk about it. But once again, they good at covering up some things until they get to the point where they didn't have a choice. Have you heard about the young man that was killed in the city of Grand Prairie that had a mental illness? Him and his mom just made it to town, staying in the hotel. He was kind of anxious after the flight, but while they're in the hotel, he had a small pocket knife. Cop came up and shot him, shot and killed him. He wasn't going toward that cop. But once again, you say, why do I sound, why do I race so much? Why not? Why not? That's the problem that we have with a lot of folks. They don't want to talk about race, but they have this racist mentality and try to make laws that won't benefit everybody. So that is an issue in America. Yes, I'm going to continue to talk about race because I'm black and I'm proud. And guess what? Because I'm black and I'm proud, we need to expose some of this BS that is going on in America. That's why I do what I do. So yes, it needs to be discussed. You may say I sound racist. Okay, that's your opinion. Like I told you earlier, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But as long as I'm speaking facts, that's what matters. Um, that's your opinion once again. That's your opinion. But we hear about all the unarmed black people being killed. Like for instance, the incident that happened in Florida last week, where several years ago, and the name unflipped my head. the young man that was playing with a water gun at a park. Within seconds of the police coming up, they end up shooting and killing this young man. Now, here it is last week down in Florida. We have, I think it was a 12 and a 14-year-old ran away from a home. They break into a house, found some guns, have a shootout with the police. Matter of fact, they found some AK-47s, had a shootout with the police. Yes, the young lady was shot, but they both shot and killed. And then you turn around, well, they wasn't shot and killed, but they both survived. They're still alive today. But here it is, this one little black kid had a water gun. No shots was fired, but as soon as the cops seen that water gun, shot and killed him. Philando Castile got pulled over in a traffic stop, had his LTC license. Cop asked if it's a gun in the car. He said yes. Immediately shot and killed him. No charges. Sandra Bland in Texas go and get pulled over. Cop get an attitude. She go to jail, end up dead. Yeah, it's a race issue in America. And as long as I'm black, I'm going to continue to talk about it. That's what needs to be done. We have a racist ass governor here in Texas that don't want the true history of America taught in our schools. They want us to forget about it. He keep making laws to prevent us from actually making laws that is against the low income or the minority community down in Houston. They cutting the amount of polling place in Houston, one of the largest, if not the largest city in Texas, but he cutting polling places in the black community to prevent them from being able to vote. Even the mail-in ballots, same thing. So it's still an issue. It's about race. So as long as these type of things are going on, we're going to continue doing it. It's not about owning slaves or anything. It's about having that mind that they're better than a different race. It's not about owning slave. It's about stop teaching your kids about hate. And that's what we have to get to, because y'all want to teach your kids that you better than a black person, you better than a Hispanic person, we better than Asian people. But at the same time, just like that old racist ass cop in Atlanta, when that guy went on that shooting spree, shooting up the massage parlor, he gonna come out, first thing he say in the news conference, he was having a bad day. No, this man just murdered some folks. What a bad day have to do with it? I have bad days all the time, but I still keep a smile on my face. It don't make me want to go out here and shoot up the world. No, it don't. So yes, that's a racist comment, because he's trying to justify what he done. When we seen a lot of other mass shootings that took place across this world, that some of these people that committed the mass shooting is taking a Burger King, taking to get something to eat, and they're politely taken in custody. So don't tell me I'm sound racist. Well, apparently you might be a little racist yourself. I don't know for sure, but you might be, because people that have problems talking about the history of America, you might be part of the problem. Exactly. That's another thing. Trump had problem this modern David Duke and the Proud Boys. Exactly. He didn't want to do it. Even when the people rode on the golf cart, came by, talking about white power, he retweeted that BS. Instead of saying that's not what we stand for in America. That's a racist bastard if he agreed to it. So that's the problem that we have to have in America. That's what we need to change. It's that right there. One ranking say the top 20 most dangerous cities around by. Okay, I don't know where you getting those reports from. Come with facts. Come with facts. They always Trump always said Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. But once again, Trump is a racist bastard. So you can say Democrat, but he is a racist. His history have shown that. So, and anybody that goes against Trump is a problem. So, uh, da, da, da. Okay, that's your opinion. But once again, we seen the videos, we seen the things that happen when it come down to black folks being killed by cops. How many um, reports come out dealing with black cops killing unarmed people, regardless of the color, just black cops killing unarmed people? How many incidents have you heard of that? Now, if it was across the board, it would it wouldn't be the same. So the thing is, either one or two things. Matter of fact, I seen a video earlier today. This video came out. It just recently came out, but this incident happened over a year ago. A taxi driver took a client to Walmart, sitting out there waiting. The employee came out, said, "Hey, you need to move." And he said, "Okay, I'm just waiting for my client. They just ran in to grab something. I still have the clock going and all of this." Well, they end up calling the police. Police come out. Guy, cop tell him he need to move. And the guy told the cop the same thing. "I'm just waiting for my client to come out, but I will go ahead and move." Next thing you knew, the cop told him, "Get out the car, I'm going to tase you." This was 20 seconds after coming in contact with the guy. 20 seconds. Guy get out the car. He said he was, the cop said, stop resisting. See, if you pay attention, that's a lot of things the cops say a lot. Stop resisting, stop resisting. The guy said, "I'm not resisting. Turn around." He turned around. "Stop resisting." Then he tased the guy several times. Tased the guy. Well, they did their investigation and they found that this cop lied about his report. He never told the guy he was under arrest, so there's no way he could have been resisting. But he was arrested for resisting. And I think they reprimanded him. He don't need to be on the force. Just like in Toledo, Ohio. I seen another video. Video just recently came out. But this happened over a year ago. Guy was arrested. He's on the ground. I think they said he was stole a car, whatever the case may be. The guy was on the ground cooperating with the police. The police started threatening to shoot him in the head. The police went to the back, had his gun pressed up against the soft part of his neck, cocked this gun like he was getting ready to shoot him. Now, the thing is, that department tell them, "Do not pull the hammer back on the gun until you getting ready to shoot it." And he violated all of that. Once again, he got a flap on the wrist, still on the force, should not be on the force. And I think it won't be long before we hear he shot and killed someone. And for him to make threats like that, no, he don't need to be on the force. How many black people are killed each year by police? Way too many. Way too many. Too many. It's a lot of us. All because either the cop was scared or the cop was a racist. But the first thing they say, they feared for their life. Um, well, I'm not looking at that data, but what I'm seeing is way too many. Okay, it would be a difference if all of these, if majority of these shooting was caused across the board, where it was black officers and white officers involved in these shootings. But a lot of these shootings are just white officers. White officers. That's all it is. White officers. That is doing majority of these shootings. Um, I will say there was one person several years back in Minnesota. He was I think he was I forgot what he else but his skin color was black. But this lady approached them. They received the 911 call. They out there looking for the person. They in a dark alley. They didn't see nobody after searching. Woman come up, just walked up on the side of the car in the middle of the night. Didn't say nothing. And he reached across, shot the woman, and killed her. And they immediately arrested him, put him in jail. But once again, that's a black officer. He didn't know if they had a gun, just they had been searching the area for the person, didn't see nobody, and all of a sudden, out the blue, somebody show up. So once again, that was the incident of a scared cop. But how many people are held accountable for their action? They quickly arrested him. He's still serving time in prison now. So, but we have seen too many white cops that have gotten off with video showing what they done wrong, and they don't even make it to grand jury. They made a decision as soon as it happened. So yeah, that's a problem. Uh, Radio said that's a talking point of the Republican Party. There's no racism in the US just 70 years ago where there was still open segregation. Exactly. I'm like this. Far as I'm concerned, that's part of history that should be taught. But people don't want to talk about the history. Matter of fact, I talked about I forgot what school district it was or where it was located. They actually gonna actually teach um, Black history in America. A course for that, I forgot the proper name for it, but they're gonna teach that instead of some of this watered down stuff they trying to do here in Texas. Want to pick and choose. Um, want to pick and choose what they're gonna do. Biden advocate for segregation and radio chaos. When? When? I'm not pleased with Biden. If you followed the show long enough, and please, I hope you like, share, tell a friend, click the notification for whenever we come on. We're on Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time. I asked what area you was located, what state, but you never answer. I know some of y'all have select hearing, and some of you want to use these fake accounts, but that's cool. But um, with that, when did he advocate for it? If you're talking about back in when he first got in office, well, time have changed. You can't hold a person accountable for what they done years ago. Um, you have to hold them accountable for where they are today. Uh, Uh, okay, but we're talking about the recent killing, the recent one. And let's look at the last um, 5 years. How many of those killings have been by black officers? Um, how many black killings was by a black officer where an unarmed person was killed? And you can't tell that. We don't know if these numbers are accurate or not. Um, Radio said that was busing legislation. He said it and stated that he opposed busing order by the Department of Education. Yep, that's when uh, Harris was running against him, and she mentioned that she was one of those kids that was busing to a different district. And I guess next you're going to talk about Harris' position too as a prosecutor. Come on, bring it up. I know you're going to bring it up, but let me save you a couple of taps and keep your finger for hurting. Um, um, oh, okay. I know anything I say, you're gonna go against me. That's cool. That's what I like about this show. You have your opinion, I have mine, but we're only gonna stick to facts. So that's a good thing. But I'm sure you're gonna talk about when she was a prosecutor. You mentioned earlier about Biden made laws to where Harris arrested a lot of black people. Well, here's the question, and this is one thing that a lot of people fail to realize. Harris was doing her job. She was a prosecutor. It wasn't like she was just going out and finding people on the streets and say, "Hey, I'm sending you to prison for no reason at all." Well, in order for you to get in front of the prosecutor, you must have done something wrong. Um, you must have done something wrong, but at the same time, she was doing her job. Why are you in front of a prosecutor? Okay, yeah, you going on with that lie. That's what you're gonna say, but at the same time, what you must realize about that incident, the man was estranged from his wife. Look at everything. Don't just read part of it, or you probably didn't read it at all. You probably just heard someone talking about it. But look at the part of it. She was single. He was separated from his wife. Had been separated for over a decade from his wife. No, unfortunately, some people find it more beneficial. They separate, but doesn't get a divorce for whatever reason. It may be because of the assets that they have. It may be because of the benefits they have. But at the same time, they had an agreement. She did her thing. He did his thing. Him and First Lady, Vice President started to date. Well, at that time, she was single. So don't come with this mess talking about she slept her way to the top, because that's a bald-faced lie. That's a bald-faced lie. Now, if he was still with his wife at the time, that'd be completely different. But they had been separated for a decade. Why don't you pull up the whole story behind it? And matter of fact, if you pull up her Wikipedia, it'll say it in that. Pull up the whole story. Just don't pick up half of it. And once again, I do not answer callers with no caller ID. So if you're not calling straight up, I will not answer the phone. So you cannot block your number out. Block your number and call. It doesn't make a difference how old he was. The fact they was both grown adults made a decision to do what they did. So they both were grown. They were consent to do that, and that was their choice. So please do not try to dog this sister out. So you're telling me you never uh, okay, I'm not sure who it is that keep trying to call with no caller ID. I do not answer calls with no caller ID. Um, so if you're trying to reach out, you need to make yourself known. But do not dog the sister and feel that it's it's one of those situations where she was just putting herself out there. She understood the situation. Yeah, they were separated, been separated. Uh, okay, now you're talking nonsense. But anyway, um, yeah, made me go past my time. Boy, I'm trying to do better and stick to my time. But either way, uh, Patrick, you always welcome here. You always welcome to come on the show um, and chime in. Uh, definitely uh, click the notification for when you know what time we coming on. We can agree, disagree, however you want to put it. But I'm not sure who that is trying to call with no call ID, but I do not answer calls with no call ID. I get enough uh, spam calls already. So that's one thing I won't tolerate is trying to answer a call with no call ID. So if you're trying to reach, um, that's what we got to do. Uh, um, so that's where we are today. But other than that, I don't know. Um, whoever this is calling with no call ID, I'm not gonna answer the call. Bottom line. Um, so other than that, I appreciate appreciate everyone for uh, tuning in tonight. Um, tuning in tonight and uh, appreciate everyone for chiming in. Patrick, you always welcome here, even if we don't agree. It's okay. Um, either somebody really trying to reach me, are they? Let me see who this is, because I'm gonna go against my word. But if you come with some foolishness, click, click. Oh, you don't even say your name. I'm not gonna answer that. So, whoever it is trying to call, catch us tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Um, so, other than that, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Once again, happy birthday to my beautiful wife. Um, my boy, Chris Thorman Norman, happy birthday to you. And also, rest in peace to one of the greatest artists of my time, uh, the man himself, Prince. This dumbass said it's your mama, your dad. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, they hung up. See, that's that foolishness right there. That's that foolishness. Talking about it's your mama, your daddy. What is problem with you? Ooh, I'm gonna get off of that. Hey, it's my wife's birthday. So oh yeah, you said Miss Kirk though. Now mine is on Sunday. My birthday is Sunday, so and so I will be doing a show Sunday. I appreciate it. I would let her know. Okay, you dumbass, you keep calling for what reason? From to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2. Hold on. To accept, press 2. What What the hell you want? What the hell you want? You just want to listen? There you go. Dumbass. But hey, I appreciate you. But other than that, I will see y'all tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Until then,